Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Public employees from serving in the legislature. George Harris will be here today to talk about the Tabor Amendment and property taxes on Nevada Newsmakers.
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel, joining George and Paul and I, the Alonso brothers, Mike and Alfredo. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
He's the fiery chairman for Nevadans for Sound Government. We welcome to the program George Harris, and my co-host today is Paul Enos, who is manager of government affairs for Retail Association of Nevada, one of our proud sponsors. Okay, let's start. Property taxes.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
We put a, the problem we have here is we're going to end up threatening Nevada families and seniors. They're going to have to choose between paying their property tax or selling their house, because some people will tell you we've had this anomaly of values going up, which is nonsense. We're in a great economy, we're growing, and the government owns 92% of the state of Nevada. Those numbers just came out, and they only release 4,000 acres a year. And as long as that continues, property, it's supply and demand. So, I've been concerned because, the legislature hasn't come to a resolution with this property tax thing, and it's not rocket science. We in business, we use the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. But it seems that there might be folks that are, running in line after each other to say, to create a crisis to say, oh, we fix this for you, we fix this for you, and hey, now I'm running for governor.
Well, there is a crisis when people's property taxes are doubling. So, I mean, there is a crisis in that regard.
But it's an artificial crisis, though. It certainly is an artificial crisis.
So your solution is essentially for the federal government to open up more land, and therefore the values will drop?
Well, there's a lot of different solutions, but certainly if more land was opened up, and more land was in the hands of private ownership, and people could develop more, certainly you would see, over time, values.
Okay, but what's the short-term fix?
Well, the short-term fix is to do what's in the Constitution. If we can put the property tax bill up, if you have that slide, if a home is valued at $150,000.
And this is from the city of Las Vegas.
And this is from the city of Las Vegas. You'll see that there's an assessed value ratio. It's just a ratio of 35% or 0.35%. That gives you the assessed valuation of $52,500. The city of Las Vegas tax rate happens to be $3.28.77%. Every city has a different tax rate.
Tell me how that isn't going to affect our state's bonding capacity, because according to the Constitution, we can only bond up to 2% of our assessed value. So
you're not changing the assessed value. You're reducing the ratio.
So you're going along with what the Las Vegas Review-Journal suggests.
Well, no, Sam, I suggested this here on your show 3 or 4 shows ago. Not that this is my plan, because it's not my plan. This is the people's plan, because it's already in the Constitution. The legislature are the ones that are empowered to raise the assessed ratio. You know, no one would be going, oh, George, you can't do that, if they wanted to raise the assessed ratio. Oh, let them do it. But, you know, you got a bunch of people out there who don't want to take money away from the feeding frenzy of government. And the credibility I have on this is, if you look at these cities, there should be another slide for the end fund balances of cities or the surplus of cities. And it's, you know, it's ridiculous. I mean, the city of North Las Vegas has a $158 million surplus. The city of Las Vegas has a $335 million surplus. The city of Henderson has a $640 million surplus. Clark County has $1.2 billion in surplus. But what's funny about that, when you go on their website and look at their budget, they list all this, and then just below their budget they say excluding proprietary funds.
Okay, let's just continue with this for a minute. I know that your group, Nevadans for Sound Government, has been involved in getting Tabor Initiative. They tried to get it. Tabor Initiative, the state of Colorado, State Senator Tabor passed it. It says that the state budget or the state expenditures cannot grow more than population plus CPI, and it also has a provision in there that
population growth and inflation.
That's correct. And it also says that if you have a surplus, that surplus has to go back to the people. So that's what Tabor is. Now tell me what you were doing in North Las Vegas.
Tabor is the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. Well, in North Las Vegas, we did a petition, and we garnered enough signatures, and and it was a Tabor light. And what we said was, since North Las Vegas employees only work 4 days a week, 36 hours a week, they're the highest paid employees in the state of Nevada. We said, listen, you know, obviously these you know, the largest cost to government and to business, of course, is labor. So someone should be looking at that, and you certainly shouldn't have politicians, because politicians get, you know, beat up by the unions of the cities, and they say, if you don't support our pay raise, we're going to put someone against you, or we're not going to support you. So they get all these pay raises. So we went to change the city charter to say that yes, the collective bargaining is negotiated by the city council, and it has to be ratified by the city council, and we added a line that says it also has to be approved at the next vote of the people. That's all. Not a big deal.
So you're doing that to lessen spending in the local governments?
Sure, because the largest cost is labor, and when they come in with not reasonable, hey, we want a 2% raise, when they come in with 8, 12, 16% raises, then the city government guys can say, listen, yeah, you can have a 25% raise, but you better, you know what, you better notch that down, because the voters are going to have to approve that.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be back with more with George Harris on Nevada Newsmakers after this timeout.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Your best value in sight. is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
When you need a new employee, how can you be sure who you're really hiring? A background investigation by Employer Links will uncover criminal records, verify the applicant's education, check their credit history and Social Security verification. An investigation will research professional licenses and driver's licenses and let you know why they're unemployed. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we continue our conversation with George Harris, Chairman of Nevadans for Sound Government. Okay, a couple of the suggestions on a statewide level for this property tax would be caps, or Senator Titus proposing a freeze.
Well, listen, a freeze is just to freeze the inevitable damage which is going to occur more. It's going to be compounded. Give us time for a it doesn't give us time. Discussion. It's not going to give us time because, listen, the values are still increasing. It's not an anomaly like some people would love to say, and oh, this is just going to stop like next week. It's not going to stop. As long as they're selling homes in California for $1.3 million, $1.4 million, and coming up here to Las Vegas or into Reno and paying $450,000 or $500,000 for a house, this boom is going to continue. Okay.
Do you think we can fix it in this legislative session? That we have time? According to the Taxpayers Association, they say that we have until the end of March for the legislature.
You can fix this today at the infrastructure meeting by saying we're going to take the assessed ratio. We're not going to touch the assessed valuation. We're not going to touch the tax rate. We're going to take the assessed ratio. We're going to move that. We should move it from 35 to between 18 and 20%. Okay. That just moves down the ratio. So when you take your $100,000 home and you times it by 20%, that's where you get your tax rate. All this does is stop the cities from getting this massive windfall they've got.
What about the school districts? What about the rules?
It's not going to affect the school districts. If the rules have a problem because their tax rate goes down, because lowering the assessed value, they're not getting as much income, then in rural Nevada, you can raise the tax rate cap from 364. Constitutionally, you can go to $5 a
Let's just explain that right now. Statutorily, you have a
statutorily, which means the legislature makes that decision.
That's right. You have a cap of $3.64
per
$100 of assessed value. So we have a number of cities. You have Carlin, Caliente, Lovelock, Ely, White Pine, Mineral counties. They're all up against this cap. So you're saying you raise that from $3.64 to $4.10?
$4.10, $4.11, whatever the number is. They've got to come out with it. You know, they've got to, because actually the tax commission, the Nevada Tax Commission would they're the ones who form. They're the ones you have to go to say we want to raise this tax. We want to raise the cap. They have the authority to raise the cap outside the.
George,
outside the legislature.
I want to flip the subject here.
Yes.
We have at this point anywhere ranging from $1.4 billion surplus that Perry Como said in the show to some people saying it's as high as $2 billion.
Right.
And we have Lynn Hetrick on this program saying that there's going to be a feeding frenzy and the money's not going to be going back to the people.
And there's a feeding frenzy.
And that his job is to be able to see that the money is spent responsibly. What's your response to that?
My response is, listen, these guys are creating their own revolt from the people. This isn't George Harris. A lot of people would love to say this is just me. It's not. I mean, literally tens of thousands of seniors are ready to fire everybody. We're probably going to, when it's all done and said, it'll be probably a little over $2 billion. You know, last legislative session they increased government 33%. This legislative session they're at 19%. When you blend it, we've increased government in 4 years by 55%.
Tell me, if Tabor was in effect in 2003, what would be happening right now?
What would be happening? They could only grow within growth. Inflation and population.
And that $2 billion would go back to the people?
Well, that $2 billion, well, statutorily, we hope that's what's going to happen, the $2 billion. See, no matter if, the reason I'm saying lower the ratio Because if you lower the ratio and you immediately reduce these people's tax burden, they're not going to say, let's run to do a Prop 13. Because let me tell you something. They tried caps. I don't know if you know this, but caps were the first thing they tried in California. And when the caps didn't work, because caps are only going to cap you into bankruptcy, because they allowed the assessed value to go up every year, okay? So when the caps didn't work, they went to Prop 13, okay? Well, now California's $33 billion in debt. Yes, there are other reasons, but one of the most significant reasons is because Prop 13. Because,
well, that's not necessarily true.
Well,
because
it is.
Prop 13, when it was initially passed, it had an expenditure cap that said the state of California cannot spend over this amount of money. However, they took that out in 1991.
And that's what caused all this. So right now, that is one of the major causes of this. So the scary thing here is how do we make sure our state stays fiscally sound? And we've got to start, you've got to...
It sounds like it's fiscally sound. It's too fiscally sound.
No, it's too fiscally sound because we've overtaxed the people. We're basically stealing from regular folks. I'm amazed when rich guys or liberals say, don't do this on the back of poor people. Well, who do you think's paying these taxes? I mean, it just amazes me. We need to get back. We need to start protecting Nevada families. We need to start protecting Nevada seniors. That's not happening right now.
Okay, let's take a break, and we'll come back and join us on the Pundit panel with Mike and Alfredo Alonso.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Until 3 years ago, my medical problems have been very few. I knew very little about the medical world. Then I got pneumonia, which produced heart trouble, and I was suddenly thrust into a whole new experience that was very bewildering and very difficult to handle.
One-stop access for caregivers, NevadaCareConnection.org.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
If it's hot, it's here at the Pepper Mill. The Pepper Mill has over 500 of the hottest video theme slots. And with the $100,000 Winter Video Theme Slot Fest, there's no smarter time to play these winning machines. Win your share of the money with $2,000 random cash giveaways every Monday and $5,000 drawings every Friday. And new players can get up to $100 free play.
The slots that rock are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you winning?
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Well, it's going to be a fascinating pundit panel today as we're joined by the first time we've had brothers on the show together here, Mike and Alfredo Alonso. Alfredo is with Lionel, Sawyer, and Collins, and Mike Alonso is with Jones Vargas. Welcome to all of you. Let's start out, first of all, Alan Feldman was on the program last week, and he was very much against the banks getting their taxes lowered. Where do you think that's going to go, Alfredo?
Frankly, I don't know at this point. I think that's the debate the legislature has been discussing for the last 2 years, and I think that there is some appetite to open it up. I'm not sure if that will happen, but I think it's possible. I think that with the surplus, there's obviously a change of heart to some degree, but again, I think that's up in the air, and we'll see where that goes.
Do you think, Mike, that if the public doesn't see a rebate, and it's not looking, even though the governor sent out a press release yesterday talking about still wanting to send out the rebate, if there's not a rebate and the banks get their taxes lowered, is that going to cause a problem?
Well, I don't think so. I think it depends on how they do it, but I just don't hear that many people clamoring over rebate. I'm sure George will disagree with me. The banks,
because you've never been in a neighborhood, though. If you were in the neighborhood and with the regular people, you'd go, wow, God, all these people want a rebate.
Well, then we need to talk to someone other than George.
You know.
Sam, you got to get me on other shows. I either get Andy Barbano or George Harris. That's all I get stuck with.
Well, but not everybody lives in, a $2 million home behind a gated community.
Once again,
most people live in regular houses.
Which is why I'm trying to understand how you understand it.
I live in a regular house, man. I live on Okie and Rancho in Las Vegas.
Okay, let's get to that. What do you think? Let's get away from that for just a second. What do you think the legislature will pass, yes or no, pass a reduction of bank taxes this session?
I would hope they would do it, because it's just bad policy, because it's policy that's going to set for other industries. What's to say, next year or next session, someone goes out and says, oh, this guy has 3 7-Elevens, he should be charged for every 7-Eleven he has. It's just bad policy. It doesn't make sense. And for them to pay more in payroll tax than anybody else is just unfair.
Alfredo?
I think George is absolutely right. I think they should look at the entire tax rate or the entire tax system here in Nevada, and I think we should stop having industry-specific taxes.
Does that include gaming taxes?
I just said no industry-specific taxes. That includes mining, that includes gaming. You want to be fair, that's where you ought to go.
Okay, let me do the usual disclaimer that Sunbelt Broadcasting owns KVBC and KRNV, and also Channel 123, on which this program is broadcast. There's been quite a brouhaha over Senator Barbara Sagaski being paid $3,000 a month to advise the Channel 3 newsroom in Las Vegas on matters of politics and other interest. Is this, George, politically motivated?
Oh, sure it is. First of all, $3,000 a month. Isn't that what Danny Thompson bought dinner last night when he was helping all those? I mean, listen, it's ridiculous to question the integrity of this senator, okay? There's nothing, every time when I brought up, hey, you know what? There's a conflict with all these government employees working in the legislature. My friends, every guy's right here. Well, this is a citizen legislature. They should be able to serve. So now they found a Republican female who's got a job on the side, and they're trying to make political hay out of it. All of a sudden, there's this humongous, there's this big, it's just wrong, and there's a conflict, and she shouldn't be doing it.
Alfredo, isn't the fact that she made all these disclaimers herself to the LCB to get an opinion from them, that she disclaimed in her committees that she was receiving this, doesn't that take care of the situation? We do that on this program all the time.
Well, I think it should take care of everybody then. I think George is right, and George should probably then also agree that, again, state employees are in the same boat. I think if it is a citizen legislature, then everybody should be able to serve, as long as there are rules. And I think that that's the issue, is what are the rules?
Well, that's always been the issue, I think.
But I think that is no different than someone working for the state as a teacher. I think that I think George and I are in agreement here, and I think perhaps maybe the issue is more setting a set of ground rules going forward.
Do you think all this attention on Barbara Sagaski is just another attempt by the gaming industry to go after a fiscally conservative senator who
I think it's more,
opposed their tax increase last time?
If you look at, listen, I'm not going to defend the gaming industry, but if you look at this right now, it seems that it's a vendetta from the Greenspun Media Group. And unfortunately, John Ralston and even Steve Sebelius, to do all this, they've spent so much ink on this nonsense. And I think it's actually that they're concerned that one of their competitors is going to have the up on them. Because Channel 3 in Las Vegas is the #1 station, and Ralston works for Channel 1. And that's a good station. It's Truth in Advertising their name. Channel 1, they have a 1 share, so I don't know what the, I don't know what the problem is.
Alfredo, you want to jump in?
Well, I figure while we're at it, we might as well also discuss how Kennedy was killed and any other conspiracy theory we can come up with. I think this is politics, and that's all this is. And I think, again, if we set a set of ground rules, no one will be able to skirt those. And I think that's the issue. You want to set a good, solid citizen legislature. That's what you do. If not, you go to annual sessions.
Okay, please, we'll never go to annual sessions. Where'd you get that one?
I know, I'll give you too much work.
No, it'll just give you much work.
Okay, let's give Mike a chance.
Sorry, Mike.
Well, I'm just enjoying listening to these two. I just, to answer your specific question, I don't think the gaming industry has anything to do with this, and I think maybe Barbara might have second thoughts about doing this again, but I don't disagree with Alfredo. It's a citizen legislature, and you need to have ground rules, but it's politics. I mean, somebody else is going to come in. I mean, maybe it's the mayor didn't say something to fourth graders that day and they had something else to write about. So,
well, listen, Barbara's a big girl. She understands it's politics. But let's talk about one thing here. She has integrity. Because what you say, Sam, is right. She's the one that disclosed. Nobody came hunting for her. She went and said, listen, I'm doing this, this, and this. She's the one who disclosed it. I don't see, you know, it's not like anybody, hey, this is, you know, and if the gaming industry's after her, then that's what she's going to have to face.
Well, I think, you know, to be perfectly honest with you, I think television newsrooms around this country on a local level could use all the help they can get on legislative sessions because, for the most part, they do a notoriously poor job of covering that. And whereas KVBC and KRNV, including the help from Nevada Newsmakers, I think is doing a very good job by comparison.
Well, I was just concerned about one report, that, you know, that she's talking to Jim Rogers and giving him all this. I just don't think that Jim Rogers spent a lot of time talking to Barbara Sagowski. And that's nothing, I'm not saying anything bad about her. I mean, but, you know, this guy's, he's the chancellor of the university system now. He runs a major corporation. I just don't see that there's these daily meetings.
We'll know there's a problem if Barbara Sagowski suddenly starts supporting Nevada State College, right?
Right.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
Northern Nevada business owners will receive innovative strategies that can be applied to their companies at Enos' 4th Annual Luncheon on Tuesday, March 15th at the Reno Hilton Ballroom. Featured speaker Jeffrey Bluestein, chairman and CEO of Harley-Davidson Incorporated, will present on how Harley-Davidson has become one of the world's most successful companies and recognizable brands. For tickets, call 829-3727 or visit www.edon.org.
They're still at it back here. Coming up tomorrow, Paul.
State Senator Bob Pierce to talk about the rebates from the DMV.
We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.